magazine. This should put us over 600 rounds of directly suppressed fire with no cleaning. Basically just the can living on there. That's that Liberty can, still same can as before at 35 yards. And I'll just dump a few around here. I'm gonna come back and talk about reliability. Locked open, did everything it's supposed to. So I am 600 rounds in, suppressed. The gun is dirty. I can see, it's suppressed, so it's dirty. Now, this is not a flow-through style can. My flow-through can is just a little too wide for this. I do have a can from Anechoic, which it comes close, but the flat portion on the bottom of the handguard doesn't quite fit, so I went with the Liberty can for this one, and quite frankly, it's a longer can, it's a quieter can, and reliability has been outstanding. Not a single hang-up, nothing wrong in the entire time, using both GLOCK mags that I had from another rifle, and then also the actual Extar mags that shipped with this package. Man, do I enjoy this. Suppressed 9mm is one of the most affordable suppressed rounds that you can shoot. There are some really quiet other rounds, rifle-based rounds, that are really, really incredibly quiet. Of course, everybody knows that 300 Blackout is very quiet. 350 Legend is actually quite quiet. Suppressed 4570 can be really quiet. Rimfire, of course, is one of the quietest, but this 9mm is incredibly quiet to the degree where sometimes people think that I'm having malfunctions. I'm in my bay right now. I just dumped my 600th round, and across the bay, a gentleman came over because he was concerned that I might be having squibs. And he's like, hey, what's going on? I hear you hitting steel. I know you're making those impacts, but it's so quiet and something just seems off. That's not a rimfire. He's looking at my brass, and he can't put it together until he realizes that that's a can on the end of my gun. He thought it was maybe the barrel. And so this tiny package is stupid quiet. It's stupid reliable, and it's stupid affordable. I'm gonna stop using the word stupid, I think. But here's the thing. I haven't found a 9mm that can shoot this reliably, quietly, and be this compact at the price point. There is nothing out there that meets that criteria the way that the Extar does. This has such a reputation because of the reliability and accessibility to most people. There are 9mm pistols and rifle configurations that I've shot in the $2,000 to $2,500 price point that run really, really well. Some of them shoot, I would say, a hair softer than this does, especially your roller delayed style rifles. But something about this one is so much more preferable than my other 9mm rifles and carbines and pistols. I like this kind of sluggish delay that I experience when I'm shooting this one. It just makes the real recoil impulse very predictable and easy to put up with. If it was a snappier, sharper recoil impulse, it just tends to really rock the whole system. I kind of have this whole thing where it goes like this. And with this one, it just feels more sluggish. Now, I do know that part of that is throwing the can on there, but I'm saying even when the can is not installed, I really appreciate the recoil pattern on this and just the way that it feels. There's a couple other folks on the internet, I think Honest Outlaw, a couple other people who know a lot more about 9mm carbines and pistols than I do. They've commented on the same thing, saying that this has a truly soft feeling or slow feeling recoil impulse, not as sharp as many of the other 9mm carbines or pistols on the market. And so at the price point, to have all these things together, to be able to throw on this optic, this is a Zerotech Thrive HD 1:4 prism optic. It's a tough as nails optic, and it's a variable prism, which is super uncommon. There's only a couple of them on the market that I'm even aware of, and I love this one. But I can throw this on here and I can stretch it out to 100 and 200 yards with this tiny little 9mm. I can shoot it suppressed, and I could also use it for a home defense gun. It is that reliable. In fact, one of the things that I'm gonna do is I've been just periodically, as it's been getting dirtier and dirtier, shooting some defensive ammo and hollow points and just everything I have mixed in to see about reliability as I go. And I have no hang-ups. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and just shoot a handful more right now. I think I'm gonna shoot some of this This is the Syntech. I'm gonna shoot up the rest of this. This is Syntech defensive ammo. This is a 138 grain, and that's gonna run in here flawlessly, no issues. It's like a polymer coated ammo. Actually shoots fairly quiet. I will throw my ears back in, but it is fairly quiet with this can. And I think I could actually run it in a defensive scenario in a house and not lose my hearing forever or have really significant permanent hearing damage, which you can't put a price on the effectiveness and the utility of something that's under $500. It's hard to believe compared to what else is out there. Another thing to mention is just that these mags that come with this, I have the kind of the kit, the one where you get a bag, some magazines, a sling, which I'm going to show you in a second, and then your rifle, of course, does come with this muzzle device. These magazines have been flawless. They're very reliable. This is a GLOCK compatible lower and mag well, but I've had no issues with the magazines whatsoever. They run flawlessly. They eject with some real authority. They actually like launch out of the gun. They don't just drop free, they shoot free if there's any tension on them at all, which there's always gonna be tension unless you have the bolt locked to the rear. Then they just slip out very nicely. Somehow, this company that started out in polymer and plastics and experts in that, they were able to get the specs right on a 9mm in a way that so many other brands just haven't been able to. All right, hit a couple more here. Okay, that's the last of that. I really appreciate this gun so much. It is a little bit gassy after 10 or 15 rounds dumped fast, but it's something I can put up with. A pair of sunglasses or actual shooting glasses like the ones from Warbird have protected me and helped keep gas out of my face every time. So it's not so significant. It's not like ARs with a non-flow-through can. It's a little bit better than that in my experience. When it comes to QD options, there are a couple with the particular setup I have. This variant, because there's different brace options. This one has a QD in the rear of the tang. So whether you're left-handed or right-handed, it's gonna work fine for that. This strap does have some flex and stretch to it. It's actually it's a pretty decently designed single point. So you have that option. I kind of like that one because I just find it doesn't wrap up and get in my way as much. I prefer to run 2-pointers most of the time, but with this, it's so light and maybe I'm not gonna be switching to a secondary very often. I don't mind having this one lay down right about here. The muzzle hopefully is not gonna touch me and burn me too much. So that's one option. I really like it. High quality QD actually. This one seems to be pretty rugged, strong. It might not be the most refined or as expensive as some of the other name brand ones, but I mean the quality is there, toughness is there, and that's really what I care about. It is sewn together so that you have this kind of tri-stitch pattern through here to keep all the straps and webbing together. You're not going to change this configuration or take this off unless you cut it off. The other option on my particular setup, again, is on this SB brace. So if I really needed to, I could switch over to this configuration, and hopefully I can show you a little bit here. There is flex to that. So if you're going left shoulder, right shoulder, you're switching back and forth, I suppose this will give you enough flex in there. You just need to set it up the right way. It does have an adjustment on the sling. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time talking about this, but I do want you to know, I think everybody left-handed, right-handed, even if you're somebody like me who prefers a 2-point sling a lot of times, you'll be able to make this one work with the options they have here, especially if you go with this particular SB brace, which is probably one of the better ones out there in my opinion. As far as modifications that I have made to this, there's almost none. I do have some additions. So Liberty with the Mystic X can, which is 9mm capable. It's kind of a multi-caliber can. Then Olight has sent out lights to the channel, which I very much so appreciate, and I'm working on some new Olight optics and other things, other devices with the team over there. I'm really excited at what else is coming out in 2025 and 2026. There is more. Can't say more than that right now, but this one is phenomenal. It's a light laser combo, and for something this small, this little thing really doesn't add much weight to the system, which is already very, very light. One of the lightest 9mm pistol configurations like this that you're gonna find in the market. Moving on from there, sometimes I run my own big sticks. So I have a couple of these and I like them because they're big and they hold a lot of ammo, and this thing is reliable as heck. It never seems to jam, it never has issues feeding, and those magazines drop free so well. So I run a big stick from time to time, but the mags it comes with are completely reliable. From there, I may, from time to time, switch out the brace if I really desire to. So far, I'm liking this configuration. I haven't found a reason to need to, but I have more than one brace. I actually like the pistol grip. It's kind of a reduced angle pistol grip, and I think it's very natural and comfortable. I'm actually incredibly happy that they didn't go with a stupid A2 for this. I think we've kind of moved beyond the A2 grip. This is a better design, and I appreciate that. Please, every company that's listening right now, stop including those really terrible ones. If they can come out with this for the price that they do with this whole package, then I think everybody can start upgrading those pistol grips so we can get away from the A2. This reduced angle grip is much more comfortable and practical for defensive carbines, pistols, that sort of thing. Even precision rifles, I prefer a reduced grip. I have not traded out the trigger. I will talk about that in a little bit. This is a mil-spec trigger with a large trigger guard. I can fit gloves inside that trigger guard. The Zerotech on top. Zerotech did send this out to the channel as well. It's the Thrive HD 1:4 variable prism optic. I've run this with a couple different red dots, actually, from Osight as well as Zerotech. And I like running red dots on here, but because I saw how capable this is and the fact that I can run it out to a couple hundred yards reliably, I can hit man-sized targets, well, it's much smaller than man-sized targets, but I can hit, I think like a 14-inch plate at 200 very consistently from standing without support. I decided let's add a little magnification on it. My one caveat was that I needed it to be reliable, so I went with a prism optic instead of an LPVO, which has more likelihood of failing if you were to drop it or it suffers some sort of abuse. So I went with this. It is kind of a short eye relief thing. It's meant for flat top rails and ARs, that sort of build. This has a little bit of lift to it. It's a little higher because of that system and just how that spring and bolt runs back. But it's not an issue for me because on this, most of the time I'm running it about chin level so I can run it quickly. And that's red dots or magnified optics, as you see here. That's everything that I've done or added on. I might have some updates in the future. Maybe because I'm a trigger snob, maybe I'll look for something out there. I just don't have a huge incentive to, because to my surprise, I'm actually shooting this just as well as any other 9mm I've shot, including the very expensive ones, with the mil-spec heavier trigger. The trigger is predictable, it's not gritty, it's not a two-stage in the sense that it's not like a pound and a pound, you know, that's that crazy light stuff that I typically prefer. No, it's not one of those. But it seems to break consistently. It's clean, and I'm still hitting my targets. My groups look really good. At 25 yards, it's one hole. At 50 yards, it's 2 inches. And that is as good as I can do with any other 9mm that I own, including long rifle barrels that are shooting match ammo. I'm getting 2-inch groups with this. That makes me ecstatic. That means I can hunt rabbits with this, with my subsonics, and it's a pretty small configuration. It's a pistol. I can carry it around with me. I can carry it suppressed. That just opens the door for a lot of use cases, and I know a lot of you who are very creative understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, it is a side charger, and when it comes to the side charger aspect, I don't have to have a side charger, but I like to have a side charger, and the fact that this one is polymer concerned me at first. I'm just gonna say, I thought I would maybe damage this. I've really racked on it a few times. I've been kind of rough on it and ripped it back and let it go, and you know what? No damage. I've taken it apart, I've looked inside, a little bit of a non-traditional interior. It's not like a standard AR. And you know what? There's no damage to it at all. Even though I've been kind of rough and abrasive on the polymer, I just don't see wear points where I would have shiny points with metal. So there's something about the interaction here that's just a little, there's more lubricity or less friction, something like that. I've been able to be rough on it, and it seems to rebound pretty darn well. Every time, very consistent. Locks open Man, this thing is so reliable, and that lock open feature really should sell this for you, especially considering the price point. As I previously mentioned, there are 2 packages you can get. There's one that comes with some extra mags, this bag, the sling, and then the stock configuration as you see it here for the most part. That configuration is just a touch more, and I think it's worth it. This is the one I'm going to be advocating for because I think the value is really there just in the magazines alone. But I wanted to show you in case this is what you're looking at. So this configuration rifle is going to come in there. It's going to come with this little blast cap looking thing here. It's functional. It's probably a little bit noisier because of it when it's on the gun, but the advantage is it gives you a little bit of purchase to take it on and off. This is a very easy muzzle device to take on and off. It has stayed put when it's on, and it comes off without seizing because of the little O-ring that was underneath. I like this. It's a good idea, and I keep it around just because it is so easy to take on and off, and it does the trick. It keeps the concussion of the blast going forward. This is a nice, affordable option. This is threaded half by 28, as is the gun. You have the sling, which I already mentioned, has that QD point. It's kind of a recessed button that's well thought through. You want a recessed button so it can't accidentally deploy and drop your gun on the ground unexpectedly. Like I said, it is permanently attached. You can't detach this, but it has some real kind of like bungee to it, a little bit of spring. It's plenty comfortable for the things that I do, and I can say that's worth throwing in. It does come with extra mags. These are GLOCK compatible magazines. They are made in the USA, and they're from Extar. I like these a lot. I can advocate for Extar's magazines and say I've had 100% reliability. These are every bit as good, in my opinion, as the GLOCK mags. So, subject to change if anything else happens, but I've had really good experience with it. I'll move the gun aside. The gun does fit in this bag, but I have my can on it, and that's going to be a bit too long. It'll fit with this this cap, this threaded end cap, concussion forward device, whatever you want to call it. The bag is padded. It does have some adjustable Velcro patches. This whole thing here is loop, and then you've got hook on this side so you can move it around and keep it in the bag, which I'm going to advocate for using those. If you get this bag, you probably do want to do that. There's an accessory compartment up front where I personally keep another mag or the sling. You have a couple compartments for these magazines, which are Velcro closure. And when you close it up, the closure comes to the end here. There's a little bit of a gap, and that's why I say when I carry it, I actually carry it muzzle down. I put the sling and the padded portion up this way, just so that this can never slip open and something fall out and lose it. Additionally, I use these straps to retain it and keep it from moving around in the bag. It's a tight fit, but it does fit, it does work, and it's an added value for a very low cost. I can highly advocate for this package. In my opinion, it is the better of the deals. All right, so I'm at 110 yards, and I'm shooting some subsonics, and they're very subsonic. Got my Zero Tech on 4 power. It's probably gonna be like 6 MOA of drop, and it'll hit to the right, so I'm gonna hold left a little bit. See if we can make a connection. I have my sunglasses on, start to get a little gassy, but it's plenty of drop with those 165s. Ooh. She's gassing me out a little bit now. Should probably go get my sunglasses. There's only a couple rounds left. Might as well just absorb it, suffer through. A little more than 6 MOA. I've hold over. So other than trying to see through the smoke, that's really fun. And obviously with supersonic ammo, that's going to do a lot better. With the really heavy 165s, might not be the most consistent. I should probably try out 147s, but it is a lot of fun. couple of closing thoughts and comments. That side charger is extremely reliable, no issues. Even with it suppressed, I'm not getting a bunch of powder and sparks back in the face. That is something that can happen on some side chargers as you get dusted in the face. This one's not giving me any of that. This side charger bolt, the hold open, initially felt a little bit sticky to me, maybe the first 100 rounds as I was going back and forth, and then it just smoothed out. Whatever little rough edge was on there is gone, or I was just getting used to it. Very normal break-in things. It's not that it didn't function, it was just a little bit less smooth to pull back and go back and forth, and it's so reliable, I just don't even care. This is such a good gun, I don't even care about that. That's petty and picking at this point. It does have a flat top. It doesn't go all the way back the way that an AR would, but it comes pretty darn close. And you can run a lot of your AR optics on here. It's a little bit taller, just a touch taller than, if you're gonna use it as a brace, it's a little touch taller than the top of the brace, or if you're gonna use it as a resting point for your cheek to stabilize. So this stabilizing brace for me works great, because I can crunch it up close. I can run it with a short eye relief optic like this Zerotech. Just something to consider is that little gap that you have there and what kind of optics you want to run. LPVOs would be really good to go, especially because there's plenty of length for your arm stabilization or your cheek. From there, the other thing I thought was really important to point out, it does have M-LOK. It's a very nice rigid forearm. This is not flexy, which is why I put Picatinny on the bottom. I put a lightweight Palmer Picatinny on there. Sometimes I do throw a bipod on. Like I said, I've shot this out pretty far, and when I zero it, I like to have the bipod on there with a rear bag and do my best to get a true zero. This is a nice rigid piece. It doesn't seem to have a lot of flex. It doesn't seem to heat up bad at all. And I've been able to run my components on the gun, whether it's on this portion of the Picatinny flat top or on the receiver portion. I'm keeping my zero on everything. My laser is still zero. Thank you to Olight for sending that out to the channel. And my optic from Zerotech is still zeroed, and that's 1,200 rounds in, 600 rounds suppressed, 600 rounds unsuppressed so far. Reliability looks to be great. No weird loosening of any hardware. Nothing seems to be out of spec. It's just a really clean, well done gun. I gotta say, I'm so impressed. I can't believe that they put this out at the price they do. Anyways, the can. That gap right there, because this is recessed, it works great with my Liberty Mystic X. But if you're running a much fatter can, it's something you're gonna have to consider, is you need a sacrificial baffle or something extended that is reduced in the neck or the actual thread point that goes onto this 1/2x28 thread underneath, just because it is recessed. If you have a fat can, it will not fit on this. And that's not a huge issue for me. I think the gun is good enough. I would buy a can that fit this. It suppresses so well, it sounds so good, it runs so good. Don't worry about it. If you got a fat can, keep that on something else, and then get a 9mm can or a 30 cal multi-caliber can like I have here. You will not regret it. This thing has been some of the most fun I've ever had. Everybody in my family can shoot it, including some of my younger kids. They can shoot this with me, hands on the gun next to them. Really cool. The breakdown process is a little unique. It's a little different. It's not exactly like an AR inside. So the internals are slightly different, and that probably contributes to why it's such a good AR9 style. The takedown pin is right here. You have a metal takedown pin. When you pop that out, it looks a little different, like I said, inside. You have a spring and a bolt and stuff that's gonna come apart here. And this is just a front hook. It's not actually a takedown pin. That should not concern you. That's not them being cheap. It's been perfectly reliable. I've had no issues with it. I don't believe this is gonna break or snap. It seems very strong and incredibly light. So just one thing to notice, it's a little unique, looks slightly different on that side of the gun, but don't let that concern you. I found that reliability and ease of takedown is not impugned by this difference of having a single point pin instead of two. The mil-spec trigger, you know, mil-spec triggers in general leave a little bit to be desired, but this one, the gun shoots so well, it has taken my attention off of the mil-spec trigger, so I'm really happy with it. The mil-spec trigger is reliable, it hits hard, and it does have a clean break, and because of the recoil impulse and pattern from this, I just have no complaints with that at all. I maybe will trade it out just because I'm a trigger snob in the future, but so far I'm pretty happy with that, and I think you would be too. Most people, especially if you're not a trigger snob, you'll never touch that. You'll never worry about it because the gun just shoots so well. Now, one thing to say in closing is that these are so popular right now, the variants, different models they have, is that they're selling out. They are literally selling out fast. It is almost hard to get one in for review because they're incredibly popular. Everyone's figuring them out. This is basically the Glock of 9mm pistols and carbines and that sort of thing. It's basically the Glock. These are going to be around for a long time. There's not much that they would ever have to change, and they could keep selling a million of these things because everyone's going to like them, especially with suppressor laws changing, SBR laws changing in the future, or at least improving in our favor to some degree. Everyone's going to be getting one of these. So don't wait in line in about 6 months to try to get yours. I would say start looking at it now, start saving up now, and definitely get one of these. Check out Zerotech and Olight if you're looking for some accessories, as well as Anechoic or Liberty. I think all of these components have made this to be a very shootable and enjoyable shooting experience. If you like this video, maybe watch one of these because they're kind of in your niche.